But maybe you lying. Maybe you say, hey, Sam, that's 26 million. Out of 330 million people, that's a pretty big pool of people, right? How do we know how do you know most of those people aren't white? How do I know most of those people aren't black? Well, let me show you. Oh, let me go here. My bad. Put your boy up. So then I went to the NIH website, National Institute of Health. Let me make sure. I thought ooh, damn it. I just closed something out that I didn't mean to close out, and that might have been important. But anyways, National Institute of Health. Okay, I know what I was gonna do. Okay, right here. And so when you type in African American, you get this particular result right here where it says self-reported, excuse me, self-reported survey data was used to generate cohorts of African Americans, Latinos, and European Americans. Out of 35,524 self-reported Europeans individuals, 35,279 selected white on ethnicity. Okay, that's not what I'm looking for. Right now. Oh, here we go. Okay. Okay, so actually I'm on the wrong thing, but I kind of jumped ahead. So here's where they get, but this is where they're getting the stat. This is where the stat of that 20% comes from the National Institute of Health. It says, pattern of genetic ancestry of self-reported African Americans, genome-wide ancestry estimates of African Americans show average portions of 73%, basically 73.2% African and 24% European and 8% Native American ancestry. We find systematic differences across states in the United States in mean ancestry proportions of self-reported African Americans, whatever. So basically, this is where the stat comes from. But let me also type in African American and go up because further up, well, then that made me say how many people were tested. And actually, I'd already seen it. So, but how many people were tested to show you that we had this 20%. And then you go down here, it says, over the past 500 years, North America has been the site of ongoing mixing of Native Americans. See, here they go. I already throw it in there. But has been the ongoing mixing of Native Americans, European settlers, and Africans. Brought largely from, and they had to throw this in there, brought largely from the transatlantic slave trade. They had to throw that in there. Why did they have to put that in there? You know, regardless, because at this point, it ain't like, whatever. Shaping the early history of what became the United States. It's like they have to label the black people here. If you were black, no matter what, you were a slave. And they drive that point home. If you were black, you came from Africa. You had to come from there. Nothing else. You black, nigga, you from there. And even here you see it. They just drive the point home. Nobody asked for a history lesson of Africans that you selected to put over here in North America, right? Anyways. We studied the genetic ancestry of 5,269 self-described African Americans. So on the NIH website where the stat comes from, where these people are claiming that there's all black people got 24% ancestry of European, and they try to say because they was raping us, and it kind of helps them gives them this dominant dominance of my parent people were raping your people. You were so so weak and nobody and so that and it's almost like that's what they're utilizing this stat for, and also to help drive on in their point that they want you to believe that all people of black color that are on North American land had to have come from Africa through the transatlantic slave trade. So, but look at this. Out of 5,269 people, 24% of those, some of those people had 24% on average European DNA. How many of them niggas was mixed? How many of them people, if the bulk of those people was white people taking the test, it's probably your white mixed family members that's taking the test that has your one black kid, mixed kid or some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? And there might be some regular African Americans that are taking the test, and maybe some of them show a little bit of it. But I'll tell you one thing it ain't. It is not goddamn 40, 50 million black people, which is what the population of black people in America is at this particular time. Is not that many. You know what I'm saying? So to tell people that, and to put this stat out, let me get my smoke on, and to put this stat out that 24% on average, black people have 24% native, I mean not native, white European DNA. And let's do this too. Let's do this too real quick. Let me see what publications are putting this shit out besides the NIH. African Americans, 20% DNA. So that's, first one is what I clicked. If you want to know where I got it, I just Googled African Americans, 20% DNA European. You know, and I'm a Google as sleuthing king. And so the first thing that came up was the right one, and that was the NIH. But if you go down here, let's see if there's anybody. Science, genetic reveals surprising ancestry of many Americans. So I ain't got time to do that, so let's just do this. African American ain't on there. Let's say African. They say African ancestry. So you gotta know how to sleuth. The average African American genome, for example, is nearly a quarter European. Right there, right here. So what am I bringing this up for? And this is science.org. I'm bringing this up because this shit is how you spread propaganda through the official motherfucking channels. This shit right here, as I just showed you, you only tested 5,000 motherfucking African Americans. Then you turn around, say that result is gonna be the result that you put on a science.org website and say on average, African American genome has a quarter European based upon what, motherfucker? That's propaganda. Because it's like, you think of propaganda as a lie, and it is a lie. But if you can back your lie up with some truth, then it makes it true to a degree, right? The people they tested in this pool of people, on average, has 24% DNA. So instead of them just saying it their way, they embellish it a bit. They embellish it to the point to where the whole ass niggas want to sit here and say, hey, if this is the case for these people, this is the case for all 44, 50 million of them. And what does that do? It causes stupid niggas like this to come in here and tell me that all the motherfucking Choctaws are mixed. Based upon what study? How many people saw this? The National Institute of Health can't even get these motherfuckers tested. I had to roll back on that shit. The National Institute of Health can't even get these motherfuckers tested on a mass basis to get a real good concrete number in this bitch. Because I ain't trying to take your motherfucking DNA test. Stay away from my motherfucking DNA. It passed down to my kids, and it's gonna pass down to their kids. Nigga, they need to know what it is. That's it. You know what I'm saying? In my motherfucking opinion. But to sit here and to put this on a goddamn, and let's see who else. Let's see who else published this shit. That's science.org. Washington Post. Let's go ahead and see. People learning how that part, whatever, African stun or African whatever, or African Americans generally assume that they may have not carried non-African DNA dating back to the rape of slaves by white slaveholders. Drilling it into your head. Drill this story into your head that these white boys was out here fucking on us or raping our women all over the place. Now, I'm sure that it went on in some of the harshest slave plantations out there. But black people, black Indian native people that was here along with the black people that came over on the boat and freed and stayed with us and mixed in, we was fighting y'all niggas for y'all motherfuckers for a long time. And I guarantee you did not rape all of our women. That pisses me off. And this story keeps getting put out there, propaganda, left and right. There's no proof of that. There's proof and idea because it's almost like I'm sure that there's some proof. There's probably some letters wrote that some dude was talking about raping some motherfuckers and some slaves that probably had lived and made slave letters or something talking about getting raped. And also the mixed kids that maybe came out of the bunch that are obviously, because you can definitely tell a white-black mix. The phenotype is definitely a certain type. Not all the time can you tell. Let me say this, but only because there starts to be this muddied water of, you might have a person that's already black white mix get with a white person, and now it dilutes it even further. So then it's harder to tell. So what I'm getting at is the stat. Let's go back to the motherfucking NIH. 5,269 people were tested.